Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Amanda here, and today we are working on my fall bucket list. I was drawing this on the actual autumnal equinox, so the timing feels very fortuitous. Do you remember in my project list video when I said this? The very first thing that I want to work on is my fall bucket list. I think I can knock this one out in truly 1 or 2 days if I really focus in on what I'm doing. Well, that turned out to be incredibly inaccurate. A combo of lots of teeny tiny, tedious details in this particular drawing and my own special blend of perfectionism and decision fatigue and just pure underestimating led to what I thought was going to be 4, maybe 5 hours of work in reality became 10 hours of work. The initial sketch alone took me like 4 hours to do, which I didn't sit for 4 hours straight. I sort of just worked on it while I was doing other things, kind of here and there. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the process I followed for this drawing, and I'll also list the materials in the description box, the things that I used, but I highly recommend just using whatever you have on hand if you want to do a project like this, even if you just have, a cheap set of colored pencils or colorful Sharpies are really fun to draw with, but those do bleed, so be careful if you're working on like your table or something. For example, these particular markers that I have are acrylic markers. I just bought some cheap ones a few months ago to try them out because I'd never worked with acrylic markers before and I was doing some acrylic painting, so I wanted to mix those mediums, but I wasn't sure if I would really enjoy them or not, so I just kind of bought some cheaper ones. And I actually really do enjoy using them. I love using them with acrylic paints, like traditional paints. So I do want to invest in some better markers, but I'm not going to buy any more until I use these up. I'm a big fan of just using whatever you have, especially because everything that I'm going to make on this channel is really low stakes. I'm making these things for myself and for these fun little videos, but I'm not going to sell any of this stuff. I'm not going to display any of it. So I don't need to run out and buy professional grade acrylic markers right away. However, I do have a big birthday coming up, so I might get myself some cool art supplies to celebrate my birthday. But in general, you're going to just see me using stuff that I'm not particularly like crazy about. I'm not necessarily an art supply influencer or anything. I'm just using what I have. Hopefully, I influence you to just make something. And actually, if you want to join in my little fall bucket list activity, but you feel like you are maybe not so artsy, or, maybe you're just not into spending 10 hours on a project like this, I'm going to make a free little printable thing that you can fill out. Check the description box for a link to that printable page. You can color it, you can add your own doodles, or not, no pressure. But I like the idea of us making things together. Even if you just write your own lists on the page in your own regular handwriting. If you have some cute stickers hanging around, you can add those if you aren't up to drawing in little pictures like I have. I am a big fan of the use your stickers now mentality. Not to get too philosophical, but for a long time, I would kind of hoard my stickers because I felt like I needed the perfect place to put them. I needed that ultimate commitment of sticker placement to be worth it somehow. I needed the spot that I put my sticker to justify using the sticker. I feel like I cannot possibly be alone with this. I just never felt like I deserved to write in my fancy journals or use my nice supplies And I can't really pinpoint a moment that changed this for me. Perhaps I just realized it over time that putting a sticker in the air quotes wrong place was better than never using it at all. Like writing something stupid in a fancy journal or making a really ugly, awful sketch with an expensive pencil is better than just letting them rot forever. So, use your stickers, put your stickers on your fall bucket list. I guess that's the moral of the story. Speaking of lessons learned, I definitely learned some lessons while working on this fall bucket list drawing. First big lesson I got before I even started filming was that I need to stick with these micron pens for outlining when I'm using the acrylic markers on that central thing in the middle, that sort of medallion in the middle where that says fall bucket list. I just grabbed a Statler pen from my desk. I was sitting at my desk working on this before I started filming, and the Statler pens are what I like to use to write with, like in my planner journal, just notes. I don't know. I write a lot of stuff down. Maybe that's my age showing, but I definitely underestimated the difference. And I should have taken the 30 seconds to go grab my Micron pens instead of the Statler pen because that Statler started bleeding and interacting with the acrylic markers. It's fine, it's not too terrible. I definitely was able to kind of fix it. So, yeah, lesson learned. I am sure that's a rookie mistake, but I'm completely self-taught. I didn't go to school for any sort of arts training, so I guarantee I will have lots of similar gaffes in the future. It's all part of the process. I've also found that this method that I'm doing right now, where I put the color down first and then outline the color, makes a much crispier final product versus outlining everything and then filling it in with color. When I outline first, I end up having to go back and retrace a bunch of the outlines because I inevitably get a bunch of paint on top of the pen outline, and then I'm just redoing work that was already done. I do think that the color first looks super crazy. You just have to push through the doubts of that ugly phase. But I'm really, really happy with the results. This looks even better than I thought it was going to, honestly. When I originally envisioned this drawing, I guess in my mind's eye, it was more of a cohesive fall color story, and it actually ended up becoming this very color explosion, more random than streamlined color palette. Part of this is due to the actual shades that I had to work with. They just really didn't match up with my original vision. I have a decent sized set of these acrylic markers, nothing so crazy, just a little like makeup bag filled with them. But this particular drawing project really brought to light how blue-green heavy my markers are. I'm definitely missing some warm and earthy tones that I would have loved to use for the fall bucket list, but I actually think more colorful and more random color placement makes this feel really whimsical and joyful. So, seeing how this final version actually ends up turning out makes me think that my first concept in my head may actually have fallen a little flat for me in practice. I'm sure it would look great to have a more curated color palette, or maybe even just more curated within each section. But I could also see myself letting that get a little boring for me. So I am ultimately glad that my markers nudged me to go a little bit more crazy with the colors. Since fall has officially started now, I have already started checking off some of my bucket list items. I realized today that I should have added Oktoberfest to the celebrate section because I'm definitely going to an Oktoberfest. I have not yet started on any of my spooky season books, but I have officially switched my background noise show to Gilmore Girls now. I don't watch it all the way through every fall. I've seen this series so much that I don't really need to like actively watch. And also, I don't love watching A Year in the Life. I'm glad they made it, but anyway, I'm not here to get into any Gilmore Girls debates. And honestly, if there's some sort of like research, scientific study out there that background noise is bad for you, please don't tell me. Just let me have my snarky topical banter and my sweet, sweet Carol King in peace, please. I'm not quite on to wearing scarves and sweaters yet, but I have already found a few occasions for my leaf earrings. My weather here is still in the 80s most days, but it is finally getting cooler at night. So hopefully I get to actually wear my cozy clothes soon. I'm still a ways off from being able to use my fireplace, but sweaters are within reach for me, and I am excited enough for that. I haven't made a lot of my to eat fall meals yet, but I actually made homemade soup. It's my first time ever making homemade soup. I just got an immersion blender and I roasted some red bell peppers and some tomatoes and onions and garlic in the oven, which smells so amazing, by the way. And I blended that up with some broth, and I actually added Great Northern beans to add texture, add some creaminess, and it also obviously adds protein too. I have lactose intolerant people in my household, so using beans as that creamy base instead of actual cream to get that thicker consistency has been a revelation. I know that doesn't have anything to do with my fall bucket list drawing, but hey, it's a hot tip. Maybe it can help somebody else. If you also love soup but live with lactose intolerant people and can't make creamy soups, try to add some beans in there as the base. As far as my crafts go, I'm not as far into my bucket list items as I wish that I was. The only task that I've completed entirely so far is the jewelry. There is a YouTube short actually that I made showing you some of the new autumnal earrings that I made if you're interested in seeing that. I'll actually link my shop in the description too, so you can check out the jewelry. I make stuff year round, but I just love the fall stuff, so I get particularly excited about getting to make fall jewelry. And so far, I have only finished one of the three Halloween costumes that I'm making this year. I also have not started anything on my Halloween wreath or my spooky house, but I have grand plans, perhaps delusions of grandeur for this weekend. So I know I'm gonna get some momentum on some of the crafty stuff really soon. And I have no choice. I have to get some momentum on the other two costumes because I am running out of time before Halloween. I have been filming along the way for some of the projects that I'm currently working on, including trying to fill up this sketchbook, some of my jewelry making, of course, the Halloween costumes. So I'm gonna make a lot more of these crafty, fun making videos over the fall season while I'm checking things off my bucket list. And I really hope that you'll stick around and check out some of these different projects. And I hope you'll also let me know what you're working on. I love to hear what types of crafty and creative projects people have underway. And just FYI, I think there's so much more to being creative than something as straightforward as drawing in a sketchbook like this. I think that baking and hosting and home decor and fashion and even the makeup you're wearing or anything at all that you are creating and curating out in the world. I love to hear about that type of thing. I'm so inspired by other creative people around me and other makers in the world. So please, if you're working on anything cool at all, let us know in the comments so I can know what projects you have underway. Maybe you have a bucket list. Maybe you get inspired to add some things to your bucket list today after watching this video. I really hope that you had fun hanging out here with me. Please check out that free printable down in the description box if you want to hang out and make along with me. I always love to hear what you're interested in, what you're up to, what you want to see me try next. And I just want to hear what you have going on. Are you doing fun fall activities? Do you have a good soup recipe? Leave it all down in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you real soon in my next video. I love your face. Okay, bye.